What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Make It Custom. I'm Carl Fisher, and today I have the privilege of spending some time with Ayden at Bespoke Coach Works. He's an amazing coach builder and just a super young, talented guy. He's offered to show me whatever I would like to know during the short time that I'm out here in Canberra, and I kind of chose the reverse curve. Something that I haven't done a lot of. I know that the Zephyr's gonna need quite a bit of it, so we're gonna do reverse curve with the power hammer, and we're gonna do reverse curve with the English wheel. Linear stretching with the power hammer for the reverse curve, and then just also English wheel only for just a slow reverse curve. He's gonna let me make a panel for this Rolls Royce that he's doing for a customer. He's just started designing a boat tail coach built body for it, and it's gonna be a great time. So don't forget to like, click subscribe, hit notifications. Let's get into it. All right, here's the Rolls Royce. He's made a boat tail kind of back half for it, cut the body off, and wire framed it. Put tape on it just to kind of visualize what it's going to be. So the panel that I'm going to make with Ayden today is going to be from here, up here, and across. That is the goal, starting off with the paper pattern. All right, so at this point, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, absolutely no idea what to expect. Ayden's kind of instructed me to linear stretch sort of from the inside out on the panel. It becomes apparent a little bit later on that it's not so much that you have to go inside out, because you can go from the outside in, but when the outside becomes wavy, the inside needs more stretch. It just means that the outside has stretched more than the inside. So similar to when you've seen me shrink by stack shrinking, where the outside needs more shrink than the inside of a panel, it is exactly the same, except we're using linear stretch dies. If you can have a look at the die itself, it might be a little bit difficult to see, but what it is it's basically like a rounded line. It's like a two-dimensional radius in a line, almost like a rounded blunted chisel. That's what's on the bottom, and the top die is flat. So as it's hammering like this, it's squishing the metal and pushing it linearly side to side. That is what's creating that radius. So he's kind of giving me a bit of a demonstration. He's got a feel for it where he can actually see exactly what's happening, and he's trying to explain it to me here. You'll see him and I discussing it further on later, but it is a little bit tough to understand without seeing the panel move, and I promise that later on in this video you will see more and more how this actually works, and step by step it's getting closer and closer to the panel, because honestly for the first maybe hour of making this panel I had just no clue and thought I was just making scrap.
So this started going pretty wild on me, man. I kind of stopped because I wasn't sure where I should be at. Like, it started bubbling quite a bit, so we're getting a bunch of this.
Like the catching the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say.
Like we've got kind of almost too much stretch in here at the moment. Do you have to relieve it out here?
Yep, I would say, yeah, because if it's starting to curl over that way, that's telling you that the outside is
too
shorter than the inside.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So no different to a normal compound curve. So yeah, so I'd be relieving this outer.
So just focus on this to try and get that back.
Yeah, and then as that straightens out, you should be able to sort of
smooth
that out. Yeah.
Okay. Still needs quite a bit more,
yeah? I would say so. Yeah.
All right, I am thankfully getting a excellent demonstration of just how he's working the hammer. He's actually throttling the pedal a bit, and I'm watching as he works the areas that need working. Like the whole panel is actually making a lot of movements right now because, you know, I just didn't really know where I was going. So he's kind of straightening me out. At this point, he's chasing the stretches that I've put into it and trying to kind of smooth them out so that they're a little bit more, I guess, uniform. You can see how the panels are already getting a lot smoother and taking shape because he's adding stretch where it obviously needs it.
Yeah.
So basically just going more inbound from the edge.
So what he's explained to me is that the outside was getting extremely wavy because the inside was not stretched enough. So as you can imagine, the outside was stretched too much, there was too much material there, and it got really wavy and started distorting the panel. So the inside from the edge needed to have more surface area to catch up with the outside.
Touch too much right in that one area, but still seems to have a ways to go. So that's cleaned it up a fair bit.
Yeah, no doubt. Man, it's just like a feel that you must have that, like you were looking exactly where it needed to go. It's
practice.
Yeah.
All right, so where are we? Is that that side, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can see it's getting that major twist. That the particular panel.
So I must have had just way too much here, and there's like I saw you work in this area that were I guess underdeveloped.
Yeah,
And
and
then added that tension that just would not pop out.
Yeah, and you sort of like when you're stretching, I kind of play like you kind of say I was like sort of like pulling it up against the top die to almost like shift to help like sort of when you do like an off dolly, like metal transfer, like you're almost trying to do that sometimes. It's just trying to pull it across. And then you come back and iron it out, sort of, and see, I was like throttling the pedal up and feathering the pedal to try and, so it's not flogging it as hard in that certain area.
Gotcha.
Obviously, it's probably still has a fair ways to go, but I think it's definitely heading there. Like.
Trying to wash your whole line, or are you just kind of working in spots? Like are you trying to be walking the entire panel?
Usually until it gets, unless something gets out of hand.
Yeah,
like try and keep it as even as possible. Yeah.
And just kind of pulling down at the same time.
Yeah, just helping it. It doesn't have to be like real forceful. It's just enough, just a little bit of pressure, just to
let it
help it send the right direction. Yeah.
You were saying to maybe relieve this a little bit as well?
Yeah,
like,
I think it will definitely help. See, this is where you'll run into troubles with reverse curves because of the flat die on top. That's why I like the radius on the top die, because it allows it to...
Oh, because it's going this way,
yes.
And you've got a straight die on the bottom.
Yes.
I gotcha.
Yeah, the top radius allows you to be able to...
So would you throw that in?
You can definitely do so, yeah. Definitely can. It's probably getting to the point where it's going to be more beneficial. It just helps with marks.
Right.
So... Oh, the radius?
Yeah, just
show
me what you're...
Yeah. You can already see how much I started to bring that around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically all it is, really. It's just... starting to, bring it down. That's relieved so much out of it already.
And you wouldn't have to change the die, like you'd use that same die for the rest of the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like look how much that's already started to pull that down at the end there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can start here.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's something. And that's the beautiful thing about the radius on the top too, is that I was able to get all the way into those marks and sort of
smooth them
out
edge.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like that might need to sort of splay out a little bit as well. So from the underside, sort of work
In a little bit further.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, and from the underside there, working that around as well. If you want to give that a go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Another big challenge that comes into play here when we're using the power hammer is how to hold the material so that it's not flopping around. So it's something that definitely takes a bit of feel to get used to, but as you can see, I'm trying to hold with my arms as well and trying to keep that thing nice and solid as I'm working it through the machine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's really.
Dude, that's crazy how much it
It
does.
Yeah.
Is the stroke less now?
Yeah, it's
It feels like the stroke is like
tiny.
yeah. Hold on. Oh, the thing dropped.
That's just.
Yeah, I was like clamping it really hard. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's.
There, what? Oh, the whole thing dropped down.
Yeah, that's come. That's not even. That's fucking tight. So what were those for? Yeah, so. Yeah, see this time, oh yeah, it probably doesn't need as much, but yeah, so you can see where that's holding it right there.
Right.
Like that radius is getting quite, like that's getting quite close.
That's
so it probably
already quite
needs
close, yeah.
a fair bit more there now to try and get it to dive over, and obviously through that area that you had cut before, and then potentially a little bit in the back there. But that bit up the top is basically done near exactly what we want it to.
Wow. That power hammer moves so fast, man.
So fast, yeah.
Dude.
That's steel as well, so it's...
That's crazy.
Yeah. Pretty quick.
Unreal.
So, yeah. So now we've got to create more of this, and to be honest, it's actually not that far out of the, like that form, like even though you squished it out, it's obviously when you were stretching it, it was curling up more than what it needed, and that's why it's probably holding it as well. Like, so taking that form out of it allowed it to sort of move a bit easier.
I see.
So yeah, I guess we can start doing a little bit here, and then a little bit of relief work.
And is that, I'm seeing like the flow going this way, does that mean that that line is going to be kind of like on a curve as far as what I'm going to be touching with the stretch dies, like coming up to here and curving like this, or is it going to be?
Yes, yep. Yeah. If that's what the highlights need to do, which it kind of does do. That like it sort of flows through here. Yeah, wow. I would say.
Such a complex shape.
Yeah. Then I guess also too, yeah, it probably will. Even like you probably could come all the way through. In here, but it's just going to be progressively, like, you know, more towards the ends. Like, it's, you know, so you're still working from the inside out, as in like it needs less than what the outers need because you're creating a reverse. As well. So you could still come in forward. But
it just needs it's always going to be.
You just got to be mindful of that though, because like a reverse curve, you don't want to stretch the inside too much. So it's just trying to.
It's the opposite of shrink.
It's opposite of shrinking. So that's why I typically leave that alone, just because. You know, then if you start stretching that too much, you're going to create too much material in there. You need material out, like, you know, out there, not in here.
Right.
You know, so.
Yeah. I gotcha. It's like the frame of like if you're going to English wheel stretch something, you leave the frame, whereas like this, you want to leave the center.
Yes. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Really? But if you look at the surface, it's back the other way.
So we need more
So
stretch.
it's right this direction, but we kind of want that to sort of flare out. So you kind of might have to work it. What radius on the bottom? Ooh. Oh, the radius is on the top. Yeah, so you kind of want to work it. No, we want to work it this way, but sort of like a little bit of like you know, curling to get that to flick out.
Ah.
Yeah, so it's going to, the edge is going to want to flick. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I'll try that next.
Yeah.
Cool. So when Ayden's talking about flicking out the top here, because it was curved in and it was kind of compounded, it was telling us that it didn't have enough area along the edge. So I'm stretching that edge and kind of forcing the panel up a little bit to add more surface area closer to the edge, as in the top of this panel. That's what's going to create the reverse curve that we want. You can see from this angle that it's already flattening out, which means that that edge is becoming more stretched. So I'm just keep checking it, and I'm trying to just kind of slowly bring these things closer and closer to the shape on the car.
Still needs to fan out a little bit, and that needs to then deepen as well.
Okay.
So,
And so me stretching this in here is going to bring this area down and tighten this at the same time.
yes, yeah,
Gotcha.
should do.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah, you lose one, they go easy. That looks like it's doing something.
Yeah, it's kind of getting there.
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, similar to what we did in that area, is that what I'm reading correctly here? Is that this needs
I think so.
more surface area?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Bring that down?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it may be the case where it needs a little bit, like it's pretty good there, but the outside might need a little bit of a fan. But then also too, the more you do that, it's going to want to kick that way as well. So you're going to have to give it maybe more some through, maybe not so much the edge, but sort of like through like that sort of section. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
we're kind of close.
Yeah, that's getting nice. Yeah.
Close in the back. Man, I still can't believe like how flowy the shape gets. Like, that's so much stretching, man. It's just like, it blows me away. That's how you're doing it. It looks like such scrap in the beginning, dude. Yeah.
All right, this is where it's really starting to kind of make sense to me. When I talk about adding surface area, it's kind of the easiest way for my brain to really get it. It's when a reverse curve is happening and the sheet is not touching the buck or the form. In my head, it makes sense that it would need more material, or I sometimes think about it as paper. You know, if you were to try and push paper into that area, you would have to put cuts in it so that it could fall into the spots that it needs to go without affecting the rest of the paper or the panel. So creating more surface area is the way I find it simplest to think about it when I'm doing this type of work with this reverse curve. I'm checking my progress all the time to see what I've done and how it's affected the panel. This is how you learn, by just checking and not doing too much too fast. Now getting back onto the power hammer, I'm just going to continue to add surface area where it needs it to continue getting the shape closer. So you see I'm working the edge on the bottom side. This is the wheel well side. This is going to lift the center and allow it to go around that wheel well. Now I'm working the center area that is in that deep groove towards the front of the car, adding more surface area there because it was not touching the form. So just bit by bit, I'm kind of going over the spots and slowly getting them closer, trying not to do too much, and continually checking to see the progress of the panel.
It's getting closer, eh?
That's getting close.
Yeah. So is that, yeah,
What are you thinking as far as?
Probably a little bit more on this outer through sort of through this bit, I would say, like a little bit, like, you know, it's just got that little sort of rock still, so probably that sort of like out into the touch.
So you're thinking like stretching it on this side, or stretching in here, or
a little bit of mixture of both. Yeah, a little bit of like that sort of like corner, I would say, because that still just needs to tip a little bit. This is like epically close over here. I think that could take that corner.
There, maybe just a tiny bit in there.
Yeah, see, that kind of brought that over. Yeah, see how, so that's, yeah, I would say that in there needs to slide down, stretch a little bit there, yeah.
Stretch a bit there, like
Yeah, and then, yeah, this sort of like,
slowly work that area, work this area.
Yeah.
Do you ever come in diagonally on something like that?
You can.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can.
So basically just creating more surface area here to drop.
Just to drop the corner, yeah. Yep.
And then up here you're thinking that it's kind of slow, so
Really close, yeah. It's not very, like a lot of that will probably blend with the wheel. Yeah.
So once we're really close with this, it's just going to be tracking with the wheel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once we're happy there, then we'll go to the wheel and start smoothing it all off, and then sometimes I might need to go back in and dial up an edge, but you know, you get it to a smooth surface and you can start to
really dial it in.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Unreal. Can't believe how fast that thing does it.
Yeah.
All right, I just want to show you guys a bit about the shop and what's going on. I'm in the middle of this panel that Ayden's guiding me on, but this is what Ayden's working on. This is a 1937 Auburn, and this is 100% handmade, hand-designed. To me, it's the most beautiful car, flow-wise, line-wise. He's even refined what already is considered to be one of the most beautiful cars in history. This is Bespoke Coach Works. Check this car out. He's getting it ready for a show. We're going to the Rose Hill Hot Rod and Custom Show, and so he's getting the body kind of scotched out and refitted. But it is absolutely insane, the coach building skills that Ayden has. He's the younger guy than me, and this car is unreal. Fully built from scratch. He built one side first and then had it scanned, and then the buck created so that it could be symmetrical on both sides. And the team here at Bespoke is hard at work getting ready for the show. This is coming up to Sydney. We're a few hours away from Sydney. This is in Canberra? Canberra. Sorry, I'm still figuring it out. But yeah, he's just getting all the flanges turned and everything kind of fit back together so he can get it to the show. Just absolutely incredible. This is another shop filled with Hare & Forbes tools. So if anybody is has any questions about the tools, like this entire car was built, like this is a new big power hammer. This is being tested by Ayden as well as Motor Retro to make the power hammer a little bit better so that they can bring it to market. It's not fully out yet, but that entire Auburn was built with this little power hammer, which has been through 5 different renditions based on the people that have been sponsored by Hare & Forbes to try it out and to really get the feedback. That's kind of one of the beauties, meeting these guys and seeing how much effort they put into trying to make their equipment a little bit better. But English wheel, actually I think just mostly this English wheel and that hammer built this car. Some really cool things they did for the alloy as well as they actually 3D printed their own dies. What I mean by that is like shrinking dies, instead of using steel ones, they actually made their own 3D printed ABS plastic dies. Like this built the entire car, so they're starting to separate now. But just some prototype dies that Ayden had printed here in the shop is absolutely incredible. And the kind of vehicles that, you know, his talent attracts is also kind of gnarly. I mean, to me, I never thought I'd be, you know, playing with a Rolls Royce, but that's what the panel that I'm making is obviously it's not going to make it to the car, but I'm learning, you know, a difficult reverse curve he kind of just threw me at
the hammer and is showing me things that I've never tried before. So it's a really cool experience to be here, you know, in Bespoke Coach Works and playing with something that is kind of this cool. So check out this Rolls Royce right here. This car has actually been rebodied already by a coach builder that has built cars for the Queen, Barker Coachworks. So this used to be a limousine and was made into, I guess, a roadster type car. Like I don't think that the camera's really gonna pick it up, but this car is enormous. It is huge. Like, look at the size doors. Like, they come up to my waist. Anyway, it's getting a little loud in the shop. I'm gonna go talk outside. Oh, here's the back half of that Rolls Royce. So his customer said, hey, I want you to build me a car similar to your Auburn that has similar flow, and this is what he's come up with. He started, you know, wire forming. Like we talk about the wire forms on the channel. That's what we teach in the classes that we do in the States with Christian Sosa. And the wire form is absolutely one of the greatest ways to design your project, right? So this is the old back half, you know, wood structure and aluminum coach built body, which is similar to what Ayden is doing. I don't think he's doing wood structure in the Auburn or the Rolls, but he's coach building the body from scratch. I think it's unreal, you know? So the kind of clientele that he's got is the ones that have museums, you know? Really, really awesome work that comes out of this shop. And you know, I couldn't be more happy to be here working with him and trying to soak up some of his talent. So yeah, anyway, I'm just gonna keep going on this panel. You know, it's getting closer. I'm starting to understand, you know, the process of linear stretching to get, you know, a reverse curve. Reverse curves are something that I do struggle with myself, and I haven't had a lot of experience with them. And I think that's mostly why, is I'm not on the tools. I haven't had somebody to really kind of explain it to me and show it before my eyes, but it's really making sense. And that power hammer is doing it so fast that I can see it happening, like hit by hit, you know. It's just unreal. So I'm gonna get back at it, but yeah, we'll see more Ayden to come. He's actually got a YouTube channel, Bespoke Coach Works. It's only got a few videos on there right now, but he's talking about doing more. So if you want, I'm gonna put it in the description. Go like and subscribe the channel. You know, he's not quite there with weekly updates yet, but be ready for it, because when that channel pops off, it's gonna be a lot of great knowledge. All right, that's a wrap for this video. I think it's getting on a little long, and I'm gonna split it into two parts. There's a lot more to learn on the reverse curve, and there's a lot more fine detail in getting that panel closer and closer and closer, and I'm really truly understanding it now. And thank you so much to Ayden for having me in his shop and his home. I just felt so welcome in Canberra and hanging out for a few days. Also, if you are in Sydney, I'm gonna be at the Rose Hill Hot Rod and Custom Car Show this weekend. I'll be at the Heron Forbes booth. Come say hi and check out some of the tools. We're gonna be making some bomber seats there, doing a little bit of demonstrations. Yeah, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, and more great stuff to come. I am gonna do a lot more kind of like back to the roots of the channel, tutorial stuff, and I think I'm gonna branch the channel into a second one as well that will give you more of the lifestyle stuff, because it seems like some people are into it and some people aren't. So just trying to make a better experience for everybody and taking the feedback that I'm getting, trying to be better and better and better. So thanks a lot for supporting everybody, and I couldn't do this stuff without you, and I'm really enjoying all of this. So thank you very much. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, everybody.